Anyone who was on Facebook or Twitter during the George Zimmerman Trayvon Martin case knew that the arguments and everything seemed to come down to race in that case for everybody. The arguments people were having online, what the discussion was about the case. Well, this next trial, which begins on Monday, similar circumstances, white defendant, young African-American victim. But the mother of the victim says this case is not about race.
Because the only way that you can make changes so that these kinds of tragedies don't continue to happen is you have to change the laws. And the laws will affect the whole nation, not just black, not just white. The laws affect everyone.
And that was Jordan Davis's mom talking about changing the law as it relates to guns. And this case is going to be about a lot of things, including, you know, stand your ground, right to defend yourself. Let me bring back in our dream team. But let's start with the R word. Let's start with the race word, okay? We're back in Florida.
Right.
And we know the defendant is white. We know the victim, young African-American. Is this going to end up into the same sort of discussion? And does race become the most important issue for jury selection?
Well, I will tell you, I will just raise one question, and I so respect his mother and her courage and her stamina through this. I just can't imagine the horror that she must be living. But I would just raise this one question, Vinny. Would he have gotten out of that truck? Would this have escalated to this point if there had been 4 white teens in the truck? That's the question. Would this have come to that point? Why didn't he simply drive away? Just like I have said of the Zimmerman trial, what a wonderful world this would be if Zimmerman had rolled down his window and said, hey, it's raining, can I give you a lift home? I mean, we live in a complicated society.
Yeah. So, the judges brought this up. Esther, I want to hear from you. Jury selection. Will this come down to race?
Yes, of course it will, because you have 2 different races who are involved in this, and it's right on the heels of Zimmerman. So you're going to have people who are upset with a verdict in Zimmerman who might decide to take it out on this defendant, which those people should not be on the jury, and anybody who would otherwise help the defendant because of his race should not be on the jury. So you've got to flesh this out, and the only way to do it, the only opportunity the lawyers have to actually speak to the jurors is through jury selection. So yes, I believe it has to come out in jury selection.
Joey Jackson, the important question here, what impact does the Zimmerman case and verdict have on this case and ultimately this verdict?
Well, certainly you want them to be independent from each other because every case is to be evaluated on the merits of its own case. And I think that's what they're going to be arguing. But back to Judge Hatchett's point, which was an excellent one, you have to examine it. And when I look at the issue of race, it boils down to 2 things for me: sensitivity and tolerance. And to the extent that he may not have been so sensitive and it apparently was intolerant, not that I'm prejudging, I think that plays major in this case, and he has a lot to explain to that jury.
And we're going to stay on this case again, jury selection on Monday.